Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of What's on Your Shelf. Today I'm hosting an amazing guest. This guy has played such a vital role in the book culture in this country. Several awards have been given to his store because of the excellent work and the amazing work that they are doing. Who am I talking about? This is none other than the founder of Nuria Bookstore, Bwana Abdullahi Bulle.
My name is Bulle Abdullahi. I was born and raised in Wajir County. That's where I went to school, both primary and secondary. And then later on I joined a campus in Nairobi, where most of us that was usually do. I'm an ex-banker. I was working in a bank for 8.5 years. And Nuria was founded in 2015 December while I was at the bank. That urge to read and to explore and to know more about what is going on in the world and everything, and my hunger for reading and for knowledge has really increased. It was tough marketing Kenyan books. We spent a lot of money. Nobody saw that there's business in books. So as we were waiting for NGOs and other people to do the work for us, and NGOs will never solve anyone's problem. 6 million years ago, that used to be an ocean. Wajir used to be part of the ocean. We build because we need to catch up with the rest of the world. We are way behind in terms of technology. Yeah. People are flying to space. We don't even know how to make a rocket.
You've said Wajir.
Yes.
We've never been sure to say Wajir or Wajir.
Both. You can say Wajir or Wajir.
Yeah.
Those of us who speak Somali, we say Wajir, but it's written as Wajir.
Yeah.
So,
does it have any meaning? Is it anything?
I don't know what basically it means, but sometimes they say it's referring to like a rat or something. This is a rat, something of the sort, but I don't know the correct meaning of Wajir.
Yeah.
But Jir, if you remove W-A, Jir means rat in Somali.
Ah.
Yeah, in Somali, J-I-R means rat. So is it referring to a rat or what? I don't know. But it's an old town that's over 100 years now. And it has one of the oldest, I think, secondary school, Wajir High. Yeah. Was, I think, founded in 1940s, early 1940s, 1946, 1944. So, and still those structures were built by the British army. I think it used to be like a barracks for them. So I converted to a school. Yeah, so it's an old town. Yeah, old town, yeah.
Very interesting. I think for most of us who have not traveled to that, to far north, what are some of the quick fun facts, or what are some of the things that somebody should know about Wajir?
It's an interesting. I think it is. It has the third largest, I think, airport after, I think, Wilson and after JKI and Wilson.
Ah.
Yeah, we have a very big airport there. And it's not that commercial as big as Wilson and JKIA, but it's big in terms of size. It also houses now the military. It's a base for our army. So it's a big town in terms of lands. I think it is. I think the third largest after Turkana and Marsabit. So it's around 58,000 square kilometer. It's massive. Where my grandmother lives and where my mother lives is like between here to Nakuru, and it's still part of Wajir.
And it is still within the same county?
Yeah, within the same county. Wow. So even though my grandmother now is in Nairobi, so we also coexist with animals. There are a lot of giraffes there. Some of them, even early in the morning, you can see them, some part of the town, giraffes walking, because pastoralists, basically, they don't hunt. The community I come from, we don't kill or hunt, zebras or giraffes. So we coexist most of the time with them. Wajir High School and Wajir Primary School, both of them, those are the two old schools, both the Wajir Primary School and Wajir High School. I think Wajir High was founded in 1940s. I can't remember the exact year, 1946 or 1944. And the structures are still there, standing. They were well done. And even though there are some improvements that were done to them. So it's an interesting town. Yeah. Of course, it's hot. The temperature must be above 30 all the time, 30, 34, 36. It's extremely hot. At night, it's cooler. My father told me that he heard from his father or from the elders that 6 million years ago, that used to be an ocean. Wajir used to be part of the ocean.
But are there maybe some things that maybe people meet in the town or when you're walking that
suggest that? Yes.
Yeah.
Some part of Wajir has salty water, and then some part of it has rocks, a lot of rocks. It looks like it was the seabed or the ocean bed. It was like on the low. Yeah, so there's something that suggests that, because half of Wajir is salty and half of it is fresh water.
Very interesting. And for those of you who are looking for tourism destinations, there you have it, Wajir. But now, Mr. Bulle, looking at the transition from a banker to a bookstore owner, looks like such a big leap. Yeah. What inspired the transition?
When I was at the bank, I always wanted to explore stuff. I always wanted to suggest ideas of how can we improve our services, how can we adapt technology. And that's as early as 2013, 2014, even 2012. So I used to give ideas to my boss and my friends, why can't we tweak things, why can't we change this? So I had that urge of how can we make it better for our own people and for our customers. So that drive now started pushing me towards now doing research. I'm poor in that now, but I used to do a lot of research when I was at school and also at work. So and that now started drawing me towards books now. So when I was doing my master's, as 2011 to 2013, I started having that urge to read and to explore and to know more about what is going on in the world and everything. And my hunger for reading and for knowledge has really increased. So that now started pushing me towards books. So I started reading more books and books. So my peak years for reading were 2014, 2015, and also to some extent 2013. Those are the years that I used to read a minimum of 3 to 4 books every month. So I was doing around 50 books a year. So those are the years that heavily influenced me towards reading. So and then 2015, what happened was my culture was to carry book to work. Some of them Google, some of them get an e-version of the book, read it, share with my colleagues. And then one of my colleagues now asked me now to start selling books to them instead of borrowing.
Yeah.
So I used to recommend books to both my colleagues and also my boss. So my boss also used to ask for my recommendation. I used to recommend books to her. So now that influence now came from a colleague of mine who told me that I must take advantage of this what is it called market need. So I started doing a brief research. I did a research, and at that time also, remember, if I take you back, I used to sell other products before the books.
Okay.
I was involved in other businesses that failed. I used to have a shop in Isli. I used to sell fresh juice. I used to sell Camel Milk. I used to be a distributor for a Camel Milk company called Vital Camel Milk that was based in Nyanyuki. I used to be their distributor in Isli and South Sea. So they used to pack Camel Milk, package nicely, supply to supermarkets, and then I used to be their distributor. So after I think few months, that shop of mine, 10, 11 months, it failed. So I closed the shop because I was running the other business and also running, working as an employee at the bank. And then later on, there was OLX that came into the market. I think that's 2011, 2012. Not sure the exact year.
Yeah.
And then I took advantage of that. I started selling rims and tires and accessories on OLX. So it was online. So it's just a market for buyers and sellers. So that also, I think I started doing it for 1 year, I think so. It didn't do well, and then I said, let me venture into spare parts, rims and tires. So I launched the first online spare parts e-commerce, which was called Jumbo Spare House. So I also ran that for remember this before books. So I started now running that for another 1 or 1.5 years. It didn't take off because of, I think I was mainly engaged with banking stuff. Yeah. So even though I had some employees who were running with it, but it didn't take off. So I used to have a product called Dial a Spare, where you can call for spare, give us the specifications of the type of the spare you want, we source for you and then deliver it to you. So and the biggest challenge I had, that was I was not focusing, and also didn't have the capital to run with it, because it needed a lot of capital. Yeah, so the spare business has a lot of opportunities, but needs capital, massive capital, where if someone needs a particular item, you have it and then deliver it in good time. So it didn't work well. And now I took a break, what I call it a sabbatical business leave, between 2014 and 2015. That's mid 2014, I think second quarter or third quarter. And then that's now why I started now getting back to now book reading and so on and so forth. And then when I was out of business for like a year, focusing on my workplace, that's now when my colleague suggested that I took advantage of that niche. And then since I was in and out of the online space, I started doing research now, because I said, how will I enter the market? So I have to enter the market in a different way, in a unique way. So I searched and looked for if there's someone who's doing an online book business. So at that time there were none. So 2015 December, that now I started now the first online bookshop in Kenya. So that's how now I get into the book business.
The awards for the best bookstore, I think year in, year out, and we can see that journey, and I really am encouraged to see how you kept going, and you tried several things, maybe with the OLX and then with the spare part business, that also I would say were very good training for you for the online space. But maybe one of the things that has struck me with this, is it true, because you said you sell camel milk, is it true that camel milk is an aphrodisiac?
I don't know, we drink a lot of camel milk, but I think there are many factors to aphrodisiac. I think there are many factors. You can't point it to one item. So personally, I think there are many factors. I listened to a lot of experts in that area. Some of them, they say in the morning when you wake up, you need to do a lot of deep breathing. When you wake up, you need to expose yourself to sunlight. We need to ground yourself and discharge, because they usually say that when you remove your shoes and then you walk on the sand, you are discharging your body negative energy into the land and get positive energy. So there are many things. I think there are many factors. There's Mukembero from people from Western, but camel milk has a lot of benefits. There's even kids who are allergic to dairy products are recommended to take camel milk. Camel milk, any kid can have it. And also when I go home and deep down in the village and have access to camel milk, as long as that camel is healthy, you can drink that milk directly. You don't need to boil it, and you will not get sick. Yes, you can have it fresh. No. Camel milk is an amazing animal. I think that we need to do a lot of research on. My community haven't done it, and it's one animal that has lean meat, except on its hump. the entire body is nyama too, with muscles.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no fats. The fats are only on the hump. Everything else is lean meat. The ones that are in the village, they eat a particular tree. They don't eat from every tree. And that points to that they eat a lot of medicinal plants.
Yes.
So maybe that's good.
I once read something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Some also say the urine is good. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I think as Africans, what we are poor in is we don't do research. It's just hearsay. Yeah. So I think that's one thing that I think African governments, I think even in Kenya, all our counties, what they need to do is we need to have an R&D in every sector, in all our herbs, on all our animals. There are a lot of benefits that comes from the camel, but have we done research? Like now in Wajir, you will find every house, you will find a muarbaini tree.
Every house.
Kila nyumba. When I used to get sick when I was young, my mom used to boil the leaves na ananipatia. And then napona.
And it doesn't matter which disease.
I don't know what it is, but we didn't know the dosage. Given half cup, very bitter.
Yes.
You take it, you just start vomiting. Then
The next day
you're okay. Yeah, even sometimes if your temperatures were high, it cools down. Yeah, you feel better. So, but we don't know the dosage. So it's just an orthodox ways of us treating ourselves. Which I think what we need to do is take it to the next level as this generation. That what is the dosage?
Yeah, because I think even if I look at our traditional medicine of late, I was reading an article of Olympics having embraced cupping, but if you look at it, it was traditionally done here it has been done in Africa for so many years. Now is only that it has been medicalized in a way. But I think now just transitioning now into the bookstore. Yes. Thinking about where you're starting, were there any pivotal books or authors who now inspired you to? Because when you look at how it was moving or how people were inquiring about it, we will talk about your top picks. Yes. Because guys, we can't talk about Bulle's shelf because he has more than 1,000. Yes. But now, were there any authors or books that inspired that transition?
Yes. The book, it's called Alchemist. It's, I think, a novel. It's a good story. It's about, if I remember it well, a gentleman called Santiago, a young boy. So this book, I think, a lot of guys have read it. Many, I think, celebrities, many people have read Alchemist. It is an amazing book that has an amazing story that talks about dreams of this young boy, Santiago. I don't know whether he was in Brazil or Spain, where, he started now traveling and, exploring and meeting other people and actualizing his dream. It's good to dream, but it's also now to act on your dreams. Most of us say that we dream. I'm dreaming of doing this, I'm doing this. So actualizing is very good. That book also talks about the unique things of when you meet different people from different areas. So you are exposed to different knowledge. Because God has blessed us or has blessed every country or every individual differently with different unique set of knowledge, skills and everything. So when you travel sometimes or meet people from different areas and you learn from them, that helps you. So that also sometimes makes you now appreciate the diversity of people from different areas, and also that makes you now also get out of your comfort zone. So I think that's one book I recommend to any young person who wants to, I think, read. It is a fictionalized story, so go get it. It's called Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho is a Brazilian author, and that book was translated to many languages, so I don't know how many there. It's also now in Swahili as well. It's called Alchemia. Recently translated, was it a year or so ago? 2 years ago, I think so. Yeah.
And a couple of people I've spoken to on What's on Your Shelf, it's been such a pivotal book. I remember one of the most interesting conversations I had with a guy who is a garbage collector who said that book changed his entire thinking, and from there now he's never looked back.
Yes.
But now when you're looking at setting up, what were some of the key challenges you faced while you are now transitioning now to from this guy who delivers books to individuals to now thinking about, I want now to make it a store, I want to now reach far and wide to sell books?
That's a good question. 2015 when we started Nuria, December, our goal was now to run it. At that time Jumia was in the market but mainly focusing on other products. And during that time, I think there were other many e-commerces, but they were mainly focusing on other products, fast-moving products, FMGs, and other items. So we wanted to mimic them in some extent, where we wanted to go online, fully online, operate from our store or from our warehouse, and don't open a physical shop. So 2015, 16, let's say 16, we were fully operational. 16, 17, 18, we were online. From the store, we deliver it to you. So we thought that we'll just do online, operate from the store, deliver to customers. Store orders, website order, deliver. So it didn't work. It worked, but it became a challenge because of trust issue. Why am I saying trust issue? OLX, when it came to the market, it has good intentions. It helped a lot of buyers and sellers, but it also came with a lot of fraudsters. So because it was just a platform that wanted traffic on the platform, but them they were not looking for profit, so they wanted just to grow their hits, their traffic onto their website. So they were not doing any background checks on sellers. So many sellers conned buyers. So initially when it started, it was good. So I'm selling a certain item. Let's say I'm selling a gadget, an iPhone or whatever it is, it's 50K, and then you buy it, you pay. I'll tell you pay, and then I'll deliver it to you. So some people started not to deliver. So a lot of con men started taking advantage of the trust of the buyers. So now the mistrust now started in the e-commerce business. So by the time Jumia were coming into the market, which was around, I don't know, 2013, 2014, I can't remember the exact year, already the damage was done by OLX. So I think now OLX now was bought by Gigi. So then that mistrust also now was very hard to build again, to get it back. So once there's a mistrust in the market, getting it back is sometimes very difficult. Because of that, for the 3 years we operated as online, yes, there's some customers who bought, but most of them wanted to know where we are physically. They wanted to know where we are. I want to visit you. I've bought from you guys a couple of times, but nataka kuona shop here, I want to see your shop. I want to see. So the demand was becoming more, where people wanted to visit us, to see us. So because of that, it pushed us now to digress from our main vision and become a bit flexible in opening a physical store. So we opened our physical store along Moi Avenue at a mall called the One Building. That's where our first shop was, a small shop. So that's in October 2018. That's we opened our first physical shop, so that our customers can visit and see for themselves. So that we build our trust with them. So that's how we ended up opening a first physical shop. But initially, our vision was not to never open a physical shop, but have stores in different places and now deliver to customers wherever they are. So basically, to have a fulfillment center, you order, the center now fulfills the order, to the customers within and outside Kenya. But it's a positive thing. Our customers push us to open a physical shop.
But now when you look at that, how would you say the Kenyan literary scene has evolved, and what role do you think Nuria has played in it?
Initially, it was tough. especially 2016, 2017, even before COVID, it was extremely tough. When we went to the market, we started even pitching the ideas to our competitors. We told them that we want to onboard your books as well on Nuria. So our vision was to carry other bookshops' books so that we sell for them. Yeah. So they saw an opportunity there, there, and they started now opening their own online stores. So the reading culture at that time wasn't as good as it is now. It didn't grow. I don't know what the percentage. I can't remember the exact figures during those years, because those years I think our focus was how can we grow, and at that time I was only using my own money. I didn't have any investors. I pitched 2016. I pitched to 2 investors. They all rejected me. I wanted to raise some funds so that I grow and leave employment, but it didn't work. So my main focus at that time, was how can we grow more, get market share. So but the reading culture wasn't good, and it was good. It was geared towards international books. It wasn't Kenyan books or African books. And if it was African books, it was towards West African books, Chinua Achebe's, Chimamanda's, and Wole Soyinka. So, but we were not reading Kenyan books. If we were reading Kenyan books, then it was heavily towards set books. And it was primary and secondary schools especially secondary schools who were reading those books. So, and most of the authors who were there were writing for schools, or they were looking towards set books and so on and so forth. And most bookshops at that time were not marketing, whether international or local books. It's just open a store in a strategic place, shelve the books, wait for customers.
I'm sure you look at the competition sometimes and you look at what people are doing out there, but what do you think Nuria did to that market? What shift did Nuria create in that?
I think the shift we did was, one is just put a lot of effort in marketing. Marketing has many aspects, but one of the key things that we did was we were relentless in pushing for Kenyan books. Initially we started, when we started, over 95-96% were international books. Because end of 2016 we only had 5 authors, Kenyan authors, self-published authors. As of, I think, last month we have over 1,450 African authors. Over 1,200 of them are Kenyan authors. Over close to 1,300 are from East Africa. So the rest are from Africa and outside Africa, but African authors. So our shelves were holding initially in 2016, over 90% of them were international books. Currently, over 45% of the books in our shelves are Kenyan or African books. It was tough marketing Kenyan books. We spent a lot of money. 2017, I sold my car to stay afloat, so that to sustain my business. 2020, I sold my property to inject money into the business, so that the business, stays afloat. All those years, I've looked for investors. I couldn't find them. I've stopped pitching to investors after 2021. By 2021, I stopped pitching to investors. So a total of 9 investors I pitched to. And when I was doing when initially started in 2016 and pitching to investors, I wanted to get a Kenyan investor or an African investor. So I didn't want a non-African person to invest in my business. So because of me being narrow on who should invest in my business, and that I think locked some other investors. So, and the goal was not to be controlled and not to be told the kind of books to stock. So my goal was now to promote Kenyan books and African books. So because of that decision, I think it was very hard, to get an investor. The other challenge was nobody saw that there's business in books or in Rara, and which was true and which is still tough, is because of it's a niche business. And most investors, what they want to do is they want to invest and get their money back.
Yeah.
They're not long-term investors. Yeah, Nuria next year will turn 10 years next year, December, and we are yet to make a big breakthrough in the market.
Yeah.
It's tough because it's a niche market, and for you to to influence people to read stuff, you have to spend a lot of money in marketing. So we started that journey of now filling the space of self-published books in Kenya since 2016. So it was tough. So what we started was first we approached in two angles. One was to first onboard self-published Kenyan authors. The second was now to promote those books now. It's tough. Remember, nobody knew some of those.
And already there is a negative perception. Yeah.
And then the purchasing power around books is very low, or was low at that time. And everyone was focusing on other products or what the main need or the core needs, primary needs. So books was not part of their budget. So for you to tell someone that divert this investment from this or this money from here to this was tough. So what we did was we said that staff, we received a lot of negative feedback from people who told us, some investors even told me that it's tough. You guys, the world is going technology, e-books and audiobooks. Why do you want to sell physical books? I said, yes, we are selling physical books. We are not saying we will not sell audiobooks, which our website now accommodates audiobooks, and also our app has both audio and e-books. But I once attended an exhibition at KICC, and one politician told me that I'm out of touch with reality. That is maybe 5-6 years ago, before COVID, I think so.
Yeah.
And it was a lady, she told me that the world is moving to digital, and you guys are selling physical books. They're selling physical books, which is true to some extent, but still the physical books are still with us. I don't know when it will phase out.
Yeah, because I want to believe there is still people out there who also still just prefer their physical books. But now when you're looking at some of those things and the journey of now making business out of it, there is always a perception of Kenyans don't read. In fact, there is a thing that they always say, if you want to hide it from a black person, put it in a book. But now you've been here for some time. You've seen, now you're almost turning 10. And how true is it? And when you're looking at your statistics now, maybe if you don't mind sharing, what are some of the growth trajectories that you're looking at and makes you hopeful when you're looking at how that journey has been?
There's some quotes that are outdated and will be outdated as time goes from one generation to another generation. So that quote that if you want to hide something from Africa and put it in a book used to apply some few years ago, maybe 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But I think that has been demythified, if there's something of the sort. So now more people now are reading books. Not only reading, they are writing. Because for you to be a writer, you must be a reader. So most writers are readers, most of them, majority of them. So that means that they're borrowing a lot from the books, and, producing Africanized books. When Wazungus, the reason why Wazungus or the white community, the Caucasians, if they wanted to hide something, put it in a book, meant, I think it was coined by Africans, was to hide something. If you want to hide from African, so that also was in line with the literacy level. So we didn't know how to read and write many years ago. So, and then they were good in documenting. They were documented everything so that they send it back to their masters, so that they make decisions based on. That's why they have a lot of information on us than we have on ourselves. So because of that, they used to write and put everything documented, but now has been declassified. So you can no longer hide anything from an African. If you put it in the book, they will get it. So that has been declassified. The reading culture, yes, before wasn't good. It's because of the environment we are in, because of also the need, the purchasing power. A few years ago, most of us couldn't afford books. We didn't have a lot of libraries down. There are as many libraries as possible, I think, in each city, in each county. The other thing, accessibility, was also another thing. We didn't have many publishers, even conventional publishers. The other factor was we never had a lot of self-published authors, because there was another barrier where if you write a book, you have to go through a conventional publisher. You have to go through a publisher. So there were no printers that will accommodate you if you have your own book. We didn't have many editors. We didn't have many book designers, and so there were many factors that contributed to that. All those factors now, all those barriers have been brought down. So everyone now, wherever they are, they can write a book. You'll get an editor at an affordable price. You can get a book designer. Even nowadays, AI can do that for you. There are many technologies you can use to even create a book cover. So because of technology and because of knowledge, a lot of things has made, simplified book writing and book publishing for first-time authors. So now I think that myth of when you want to hide from Africans, put it in a book, has been declassified. So the next now thing is now, are Kenyans reading? That's the other question. Yes, Kenyans do read, but now what kind of people, what kind of Kenyans are reading? That's the question now. So school-going kids, whether in primary or in high school or university, the main goal is to pass exams. So the reading is geared towards academic books. But now, once you get out of school and maybe you're working, then now that changes now. That demographic changes now. So the demographic that are reading non-academic books, those are the books now outside the academic world, are over 25 years old and above. So those are the Kenyans who are reading, especially the employed ones or the people who can afford books. So those are now the demographic that are now reading non-academic books, and that is growing now. So any person who affords or who has salary now start improving their skills and start reading non-academic books, and that was contributed to us and many other bookshops where started marketing, because now without marketing you don't know about the product. So us pushing for books on politics, books on fiction, books on culture, we started giving life to old books. The books were there, but they were lifeless. So the bookshops and publishers were not giving life to books because their main focus was school, universities, primary and secondary. So they never focus on other general, readers. So when we started now focusing on general readers now, the things change now. So the nostalgic of, the old books you have read. If you have read a set book 5-6 years ago, and we see that Nuria posting that book, now you want to reread it.
Yes.
And as you reread that book, now you come across another book, and then now, so we activated the reading culture in the Kenyan market, and to some extent we have influenced heavily East African market, and Tanzanians are joining us. We are followed by Uganda. Uganda's market have really appreciated Kenyan books and other books, and we started now setting the trajectory for most bookshops in East Africa. So all bookshops now are up in their game. They are talking about their books. They're pushing about their books. We're also engaging authors on how to market their books. We give free consultation to authors on how to position their books, to market their book, to continuously talk about their books. That revolution of book reading and book marketing has helped now many readers now to read both Kenyan books and international books. And now each month and every year, I think the reading culture is really growing. Yes, it's Nairobi that's leading when it comes to reading culture in the whole of East Africa. Other counties follow. In Kenya, Kiambu follows Nairobi, even though Kiambu is just an extension of Nairobi.
Yeah, they say it's the bedroom.
Exactly, exactly. So other counties, I think, if I can say, over 85% readers of our readers come from Nairobi and Kiambu. The other 15 is shared across other counties. Yeah. And our goal is now also to take the same energy to other counties. So that's our goal now, to make Nuria visible in every county, and also activate or give life to books in villages and so on and so forth. So by changing the mindset, I think now our environment will change, because it hurts me when I see Kenya's politician now or even our president telling that amepata job sijui Middle East, Germany sijui 200,000 blah blah. You are not here to be exported, to work for other people. We need to work for ourselves. We need to grow our own economy. We need to go to space. We need to have our own SpaceX. We need to create our own video games. We need to create our own movies. We need to have our own Netflix. We need to create everything for ourselves. We need to compete. And I think that is one thing I think the Western country don't want us to do. We need to study our own herbs. We need to know our products. We need to study our own animals, camels, everything. So we need to know their benefits. We need to study our own genetics. So and create our own medicines. So we are using Wazungu's medicines. Maybe they were made for their for their body and not our own body. So I think the more we do that, I think the more we be free and be start competing and be equal to them. But as long as we import everything, not only physical stuff and also their knowledge, then we'll still be hostage to them. So I think that's what we're trying to do. And if the more we improve our own reading culture, the more we write our own stuff, the more we read, not only writing our own products, I think the more now we'll think for ourselves and put our own interests first.
Yeah. And it's on that note that I want to ask you, which Kenyan book are you currently reading? Or which is the last Kenyan book you've just read?
Wow.
We are going to give a gift to the first person who comments below this video on the title of the book you're reading, the Kenyan book you're reading, and the author. We have a gift from What's on Your Shelf. But as you continue to listen to Mr. Bulle here in the story of Nuria, who won awards as the online bookstore, and today you can hear the hard work that has gone into it. Check out the website, NuriaStore.com. They have amazing thing. And today Bulle will tell me why I've never been given awards for the books. I saw today when I was checking the website, I saw there are points that are won.
Yes.
It's the only bookstore, the online bookstore, where you get rewards and points for just purchasing a book, which you can redeem and do what again? Come back and get another book. But check out Nuria.com. It's one of the best online marketplaces you can visit. But also they have a number of titles that are there, and Bulle is going to tell us how creatively they've worked on that space. And that transitions us now, Mr. Bulle, to your top picks. And we start from where we've been talking about, the money. One of the top books that is also a Kenyan book from your top picks is Making Sense. Na ni sense ya mapeni by Washeke Ndwati. Tell us about this book, sir.
I've read it, I think, many years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. It's I think it's a book that teaches you on money abundance and scarcity, especially the money mindset. If I tie to when we started Nuria, my mind was revolving around, I need to get an investor for me to grow. I need to get an investor for me to grow. So it was some kind of scarcity in my mind where I must get an investor for me to grow. Later on, I changed my mindset and said that I need to heavily focus now on how can I invest back, plow back my profit, and grow the business steadily, organically. So, and for many years, my thinking was, this is a startup. For me to grow, I need capital to grow fast. And I think, and that was coming from the scarcity mind. I cannot grow without money. I cannot grow without help. I cannot grow. So this book teaches you about how you can use your own skills, where you need to think about abundance. So how can I utilize on what I have, the little I have, and grow it? So abundance mentality is good. Yes, you might not have physical cash or actual cash, but you need to look at the positive side of the abundance side, where, yes, the little I have, how can I grow it over many years, instead of relying on other people and saying that without the help of other people, I won't grow. So what I've learned from this book was the scarcity and the mind and the abundance mindset. Yeah. And most of us, when you're starting a business or anything you're starting, you always say, niko na 10k, kama ningekuwa na 100k ningetengeneza kitu kubwa, kama ningekuwa na 200k or 1 million. So I think the thing is, work with what you have and build to that. So once we start doing that, I think, and then growing it organically, and not, benchmarking on what other people are doing, because we have seen a lot of startups who have received a lot of cash in Kenya, many startups who received millions of shillings in dollars, and they have closed shop. Many.
Yeah, actually, our immediate previous guest told me of somebody who raised over 1 billion shillings, and the business still collapsed.
Yes.
And sometimes you think the businesses have a money problem. But now, looking at this book and looking at your experience, to somebody who is watching you today, who is at that place where you're almost feeling like, I am stuck here because I don't have enough, what would be your quick pointers to that person?
The key thing, I think, when you have little resources, is being creative. So applying your brain and creating something unique from the different. What we call it is, one of the books I've read is called Bullion Strategies. It's being different from the market, creating unique stuff for yourself, and taking advantage of the uniqueness. So being the different, unlike the red ocean where it's a bloodbath, where everyone is there, it's competing on price and other factors. Unique thing, it's not unique, but it's common thing. So any person who is young or any person who's running a small business, I think the key thing is creating and being unique, or coming up with something that is slightly different. It's scary, but you have to do it. You have to be different, so that you need to be a step ahead, one or two ahead of your competition. And the only way you can do is use your brain and be different. Because most of us we don't want to try something that is different, because different scares people, because you want to go with the flow. Kila mtu anafanya hii, usifanye kenye other people are doing it, because sometimes being different can lead you to into bad places. You might burn a lot of money, you might get it wrong, but you will learn, because without failure, I think you can't achieve anything. And failure is, I think, is the best teacher. It's good to fail, but learn from it, so that in future you will not repeat the same mistake. So having little resources sometimes is a blessing and helps you. You might be angry. You have been angry most of the time. Why will I have small stuff? Why is God not giving me what other people have? So, but it's a blessing sometimes, so that you grow. God might give you what you need now, but you don't have the mental capacity to handle those resources at that time. So experience shapes you now on how to handle bigger resources in future. So sometimes it's good to grow and understand all aspects of your business while you're small with the little resources as you grow, so that when you become big and have big resources now, you will know how to manage it better.
Awesome. I don't know what you're hearing, and remember, Nuria is here at the first floor of the Bazaar Plaza, right in the Nairobi CBD, but you can also find them online. And if at all you're hearing some noise, we're right in the middle of a lot of construction around us, and don't mind. The most important part is the conversation we are having here, so don't mind the noise. Anyway, I want to transition to the second one, propaganda. And now we are in the middle of a lot of political activity going on in Kenya, and this word has appeared in very many conversations. Propaganda. Tell us about this one.
It is an interesting book. It's by Edward Barnes, I think so.
Yeah.
Barnes, yeah. It's a good book, I think, to read. This book addresses three people. It addresses the media, it addresses the political class, and it addresses the business people. So from the business angle, it teaches you how to, position yourself, how to market your products, so that at least you increase your bottom line. Basically, how to survive or thrive in the market. Politically, it's used in a bad way. Politicians use propaganda to gain a political leverage, to unseat someone, to have an upper hand over the competitors. The media, of course, is to push for agenda, and also to sell maybe more of the products, whether it's newspaper or the articles. So those are the three communities that usually use mainly propaganda, both positive in a negative way. Mm-hmm. The thing with propaganda is it involves a lot of factors. Blackmailing, being blindsided, those are the two key things, where people are blackmailed into a certain thing, so that they act in a certain way. You can be blindsided by now what is happening with Gen Zs, where the movement started in a positive way, but now some people now started taking it advantage to their own advantage. They saw an opportunity here, maybe to get into power, or maybe to settle certain scores. So that's called now blindsiding. So Gen Zs are blindsided from the main agenda, where it was, the finance bill and other things. So the blindsiding is being blindsided from your main goal. Your main goal was this, but now people with other agendas now can, push the agenda into a certain area. So that's being blindsided. And most of the time, blindsiding is applied to people who are very brilliant, who are very intelligent, but you don't know. And that propaganda, that's what it does. So you are headed this way, I kind of blindside you. For example, on the business aspect, I might be doing my business well, and then someone tells me, I have a good idea. There's a market up, if it was good, since I'm doing well, so I tell you, you need to get into this market. See, market, this business. Kumzuri sana, nini. So that's being blindsided. So this we're supposed to go this way. Someone comes and tells you, boss, that's what happens in pyramid schemes. So you're blindsided, you have money, 50k savings, you're saving towards something. Someone tells you, boss, if 50k, you'll get it 200k. You let your 50k tour, and then you dump it. You don't understand that market, you don't know what it is. So I'll craft something good for you, for your consumption, and then I will push you from your main goal to another goal that wasn't part of your goal. So unless you understand, so in such case, what you need to do is take a sit back, analyze it's true, do a background check, do your own due diligence, understand it, and then make an informed decision. But most of us, we don't do that. So your business, a quail business, so a lot of people maybe who had the savings, so now it kills your main goal or your main.
People sold quails.
Yes, so that's what happens. That's being blindsided, and most people know what they're doing. The people who are doing it know it. So that's what happens now, or that's what makes you now deviate from your main goal. So blackmailing is of course, I have something on you, and then I use that. Nikona, you slept with something, a lady, I have your video, I have your this, you have a second wife or a second child, and then I'm using that shortcomings of yours now to get a favor in back. So it's used. So it's used by, and it's very hard to know. That's why sometimes it's good to make a decision after you have made a deliberate, discussion in your head and analysis. So sometimes it's not good to make a decision immediately. you need to think through it. You just tell them, give me a day or two and think through it, and then you make a decision. So yes, some people fear FOMO, the fear of missing out. Kuna hii kitu inaendelea sasa nini wacha tuingie. Even it happens in the Bitcoin, which I've also invested in, where people push for certain altcoin or another new coin. When it goes up, by the time we're unaingia, it's dipping, it's going down. So that's why now when you come late, because of fear of missing out, you pump in money and then you lose. So that's why sometimes it's good to take a step. Yes, if we didn't take advantage of it, it's good. So I think that's how propaganda is used. Business people use it, politicians heavily use it, media does their space. So actually it's heavily used by media and politicians.
But now talking about business, I think even me, I've never really focused on the business side of propaganda. But have you ever encountered a proposal that when you looked at, you felt like, he doesn't look like something else? Yeah,
it is. I've listened to, I've come across a video, a conversation of, I think, Kevin Hart and someone else, where Kevin Hart, in the initial the initial stages of fundraising for Uber, one of the investors approached him or pitched to him and told him that boss, kuna hii idea imekuja nini. So he ameogopa, he didn't invest at the initial stage of that idea of the Uber, and he maybe lost that opportunity, which is good. You can lose good opportunities. You are not God, you can misjudge any new idea. Ukiletewa, you will misjudge it. So you can lose out on some ideas, good ideas that are presented to you. You can also lose out. So it doesn't mean that you have lost big time, but you have learned from that. So that in future, when there's a new idea, you can maybe refer back to that idea and maybe but it's always now to analyze things. When someone gives you a good idea, to think through it, and is it aligned with your agenda or your main goal? Do you have resources for that? So are you willing to take that risk to pump in money, so that if you lose that money, you're still okay? But is it your lifeline that you're putting it on the line? So if it's that case, I think you need to make a decision, an informed decision. But if it is, you have resources that at your disposal, then you can make that decision. So, but now if we work on a 50k and this thing demands 40k, then you have to really think, do you want to gamble that 50? Because life is about gambling. Every day we make decisions, every day we gamble. So if the gambling is in favor of you, you can take that. But if it's against you, then you have to really think. It's good to make mistakes and learn from that than making a bad mistake, and it takes time for you to recover from that mistake.
Talking about propaganda in Gen Z's transitions me to my next book, Why Nations Fail: The Origins of Power, Prosperity and Poverty. Tell us about this one.
I don't know. I've read a long time ago this book. It gives comparison to, I think it has given comparison to neighborhoods, of how a certain neighborhood is doing well, why not. For example, now, let me give you the example of Kibra and Karen. Kibra is a slum, Karen is a high-end area. That's one of the things that shows that a nation is failing. It's one country, but people living differently, not far from each other. Muthaiga and Mathare, next to each other. People are languishing in poverty, and people are thriving. And it's on plain sight. We can do something about it, but you don't want to do something about it. And instead of uplifting your neighbors, you don't want to uplift them. You don't want them to be poor, and The other people want to be rich. So it's how resources are allocated, it's how we put our own priorities. So this book talks about why some are thriving, why some are failing. And remember, even US is also failing in that area. You will see a lot of neighborhoods which are poor. Even same in some neighborhoods in the US are very poor, languishing in poverty. There are a lot of people who are homeless. So that shows that our priorities, how countries allocate their resources. If you look at Scandinavian countries, they are very particular in how they prioritize their resources or how they allocate their resources. That's why you see countries like Denmark, they are paying you to go to university. You are paid to go to class. Here, we can't even afford to go to classes. Some people can't afford to go to classes. Other countries are paying you. Umemaliza high school, I'm paying you $1,000, $2,000 uende kusoma. It's incentivizing education because they know what education does. But here in Kenya or in Africa, it's vice versa. And why? It is, we are textbook thinkers. When I say textbook thinkers is, all our thinking revolves around what other people are doing it. We are not thinking it for ourselves. What works for us, yes, we are in the global world, we are part of the world, but how we act and how we do things should be different. Yeah, we need to borrow things from other people, but how we apply it, how we use it might conform with who we are. Exactly. How can we raise the living standard of Kibra, people in Kibra? How can we raise the living standard of our people in Madare and other slums? That's how we need to think. So as we are waiting for NGOs and other people to do the work for us, and NGOs will never solve anyone's problem. They are not there to solve our problems. Our problem must be solved by our own people, by ourselves. And that is what this book talks about. It gives comparison of how some neighborhoods have good living standard and other, in languishing in poverty. And it is plain sight. Unaiona, but nauoni. You can see it, but you don't want to see it.
Yes.
God give us brain, the eyes, but the eyes, we are not using it.
Yeah.
So vision is about actualizing. How can we see better? How can we make Kibra and other places better? Yes, Uhuru tried and started to do housing. So Uhuru now, Ruto is doing housing. Housing for whom? Who is he building the houses? Houses should be built for other people. It's Kibra that we are supposed to have high rises. We need to uplift those people. We need to do the same thing for Madare and other slums, Mukuru and everything. That's where we need to have high rises and uplifting the living standard of those people.
Yeah.
And for us to do that is we need to increase the purchasing power in Kenya. For us to do that, we need to increase employment for our people in Kenya, not sending them outside Kenya. So how can we increase? How can we grow the employment base in Kenya? That's it. How can Nuria employ more people? How can another bank employ more people? That's, I think, the discussion we need to be having. How can we create internal employment, more employment, so that how can we raise the minimum wage in Kenya? How can we pay each other fast? Because we don't pay each other fast. We need to be paying each other fast. How there are some countries where people pay bills and everything every week. Wages are paid weekly. Rents are paid weekly, I think so. Bills are paid weekly. How can we have that? How can we increase what is it called? How can we work 24 hours? Nairobi should be working 24 hours. How can we do that? What are the factors that will help us do that? How can we lay the foundation for 24 hours economy in major towns? By doing that, we are introducing 1 or 2 shifts into the market. So when Nuria opens 24 hours, I will employ 1 or 2 more people here working. Nuria is open for 24 hours. That means banks will be opening till 10. Banks will open it. Huduma Center will be opening on Monday to Sunday. Why? Who told us that we should work from Monday to Friday? Who told us that we should work from Monday to Friday? What is stopping us from working from Monday to Sunday? If you want to go to church or mosque, go to church, Sally, Rudy. Go to...
Ama wewe siku yako ya kuenda.
Ya kuenda. No, it's not mass. Me, I believe that we should pray for a few hours and that's it. Spirituality is personal. We shouldn't dedicate religion to a whole day and waste a whole day. Go pray for 2 hours, 3 hours, go back to work. We build, because we need to catch up with the rest of the world. We are way behind in terms of technology.
Yeah.
People are flying to space. We don't even know how to make a rocket. Leave of flying it. We don't have our own space shuttles and we don't have our own satellite. Bro, tuko nyuma. We are way behind of, talking about tribe and religion and word. Tuko nyuma. So, and our life on this planet is very short.
Yeah.
I will be dead by maybe 2080, 2090. I'm dead. We'll all be dead by 20, all of us who are in this room, by 2050, or no, 2120.
Yeah.
The next century, by the time is 2 decades old, next century, this is what I don't know how Kenya will look like in the next 5,000 years ago, 5,000 years to come. By 25th century, I don't know how Kenya it is, what it is. We don't know. So, us, what we need to do is we need to create the next generation to have a better platform, to be well equipped in knowledge and resources. Those are the key things. But we are not doing that. We are so selfish where we are putting my family first. That's why you see the kids are reading, they're going to school in Europe and in US.
Yeah.
And where? Australia or what? Instead of us thinking, are you a Kenyan? Why are you sending you're telling yourself you're patriotic about your country, but you're taking your kid because you can afford to another country, but you don't want to put prioritize the needs of other kids. And remember, these are your neighbors. Your neighbor is poor. You unapeleka mtoto wako unalipia $20,000-$30,000 aende nje kusoma, be exposed, instead of us saying how can we create better schools here in Kenya. How can we make education free? We start education tunasema ni free, primary and secondary. I don't see it as a free. So this book talks about how we are failing, how countries fail, how nations fail. It's because of us thinking through textbooks.
We have a system of education that I don't think anyone understands where it's heading, because now we've had with this new CBC, we have a junior secondary school that we are not even sure, do we want them to be primary school children? Do you want them to be secondary school children? Do we even know what we want to teach them? Mara they are going to be examined, Mara they are not going to be examined, Mara they are supposed to be, their talents are supposed to be developed, but we lack an infrastructure and adequate planning and resourcing that will ensure that that kid who is in transition from primary to secondary school is well taken care of. We don't have enough teachers to start with. Forget about talented teachers now to guide those kids in arts and sports and those things that are supposed to be done. But now with that in hindsight, when you're looking at why nations fail, looking at our country, we are in a very interesting season where the citizens have stood up.
Yes.
Led by the Gen Zs, our military. And there are so many changes that are now taking place. Looking at the president having fired his government, but by the way, president, this guy has very good economic policies. Give him that ministry of
no, I don't want to work for him.
And he worked in a bank, so he understands the money conversation. But when you're looking at that, how would you analyze the situation where we are at as a country?
I don't know. It's an interesting phase. And kudos to Gen Zs. I think they have done not only Kenya, the whole of Africa a favor, and the rest of the world as well, where we have to stand for our rights. We have to correct our corrupt politicians. We have to give feedback to the president, where he cannot just rule the country by his head, like Kiburi. He must listen to people, and he must put the interests of Kenya. I see other presidents who are saying that our country first, our people first. I've heard about American dream, America first. Trump says America first, make America great again, MAGA. What is stopping us putting our own interests? I usually wonder when African president, when they go and negotiate with other president and other things with deals, which interest do they put forward? Is it the other people's interest or our own interest? It should be Kenya first. I don't know why they call themselves Kenya Kwanza and they're not putting the interest of Kenya. So it is to the interest of Kenyans that you reduce taxes so that Kenyans have more disposable money. So they spend that money in Kenyan country, in our country, so that money circulates. We need more money to circulate in our economy. That's how we can grow our economy. Not that you work for someone else. So we have heard that IMF and World Bank are behind it. I think they need to leave our country alone. Just let them close their shop here. Let them close their offices. Just let them take care of their countries. Just leave us alone. They met us here. We'll fix our own shit. Just let them leave us alone. So why will we work for other people? First of all, why? We don't need their money. What is stopping us? They're telling us if we print more money, our money becomes devalued, valueless. US print their money. Yes, their currency is strong, but they print their money. They've been printing their money every year to cushion the economy. So as we need to think of an illogical way of fixing our own country. Why will you use other people's thinking to apply?
They said we've overborrowed. We overborrowed and
we need to renegotiate. We need to sit down with them and tell them that hatuwezi lipa, nimeshindwa kulipa. So let's restructure the loans for us. You get me? First, let's know first of all who are our debtors. Nani ametupatia pesa? We sit down with them. Tuwaambia our loan yenu ni hii. Every month, every year we are supposed to pay how much. So we need to renegotiate and tell them that kila mwaka kama unataka 1 trillion, hatuwezi hiyo trillion. We are able to pay 100 billion or 50 billion. This is what we are willing to pay. Watasema nini? They cannot auction a whole country. They cannot. They will take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Even in the bank, when a company is unable to pay their loans, they sit down and renegotiate the entire thing, and a new offer is put on the table of how that company can go on.
Yeah.
So we need to do that, the same thing. The Chinese and IMF and World Bank, the people, why do you want to borrow more, first of all? Why do you want to borrow more? That's the question. Why should we borrow more?
But let me ask you,
Yes.
from a banker perspective,
Yes.
one of the key things that has stood out is that money was borrowed,
Yes.
and the politicians who were in charge of that borrowing,
Yes.
that money a big chunk of it did not even get to Kenya. It is stuck somewhere in the offshore accounts.
Yes.
In that banking sector.
Yes.
Are there policies that regulate, for example, today, Bulle, if you went to a local bank here with 100,000 shillings,
Yes.
you have to declare it. It's as little as 100,000 shillings. It is very strict. If you walked into a bank with 1 million shillings, now you have to write reasons where you've gotten this money and things like that. Does those same things apply in the international banking spaces? Because how can one person deposit 1 billion, 2 billion shillings?
I don't know if, locally I understand local banks, but internationally I don't know. But there are countries that are tax haven, or you can clean your money. Countries that allow you, they want that money without less documentation, and they don't want to know where it originated from. And that has to be done by people who are powerful. So it can't be done by anyone anyhow, or an ordinary person.
Mimi siwezi chukua offshore account moja.
It has to be done by people who are powerful, either president or another person who's working or acting on behalf of president, or a powerful CS or so on. So it can't be done by normal people. So besides that, if the money already we know, and say that we have someone said that there's $1 billion maybe that went to Qatar and it never came back. So I think we need to talk to Qatar and tell them that this is our money. This money was sent from this account to this account by this person. We need our money back. We get that money back. But what if it was you who did it? How will you get that money back? What if it was you who was behind it? That's the problem. Because that's why I think cleaning everything, getting out, rid of everyone, by 2027 and electing people who are clean. That's the only way. But the entire political chain in Kenya, they all have something in their closet that is stinking. I don't know.
Are we cultured as a people to take such bold moves?
I think there are many factors, but I don't know. First of all, the key thing is we were programmed for that way. And I think it emanates from our environment, how you were raised. Don't question your parent, don't question your teachers, don't question. We were told not to question. And the key thing in life is question everything. Trust nobody, question everything, and work on data, facts, and figures. But us, we were raised like kama soldiers. Yes, yes, yes. So you never say no. You don't say no to anything, even that's bad. So we were told, oh, you'll be cast by ancestors. Oh, you'll go to hell when it comes to religion. Oh, we don't even know whether hell or heaven exists. We don't know. We were told. Nobody has ever come back from death and told us that mi nimeona kitu hakuna. So all of us, we are gambling on religions we believe in, all of us. And maybe tukienda hiyo side ingine, we are wrong till you die, and then ujijulie huko may make mistake or may make the right decision. So that is how we were raised, not to question. So kila kitu ni sa to your boss, to your parents, to your teachers, and that is the genesis of all our problems. Not to question. And the second thing is not to say no. Unaona mtu anafanya mistake, utaki kusema no. So no is another powerful thing that we need to be using it and say that if things are not working the way it's supposed. If, for example, let me give an example of now what happened in Easy Chaoses. Mimi ni constable, niko kwa ground, alafu my commander or my supervisor tells me shoot at kids. Na mimi na shoot. And my pictures are everywhere. My boss ataniruka. Kanaambia kwani hujatumia akili yako wewe? Nimekuambia shoot, but mimi sikuwa na wewe. I was not with you. Why didn't you analyze the situation? Utarukwa and then you go and suffer alone. But what if you say, boss, I cannot. These are kids, I cannot shoot them. Ndatuma tear gas lakini siwezi, I can't. What is the worst thing they can do?
Yeah. Which brings an interesting word, conscience.
Yes.
How do you look at that word, conscience, and how do you reflect on it?
I don't know. The subconscious mind is way powerful than us, but now it's shared by the conscious. You do a lot of things in a conscious way, and then it's recorded back into your brain where it becomes subconscious, where you do it without your conscious. So us, we were programmed in a conscious way, and now it has affected us subconsciously, where we act in a certain way. Who programmed us consciously? Why do we act in a certain way? Why are we unable to say no? Why are we unable to use our own brains? Why? Because of other people. Why? Because we are not courageous enough to test our own experiment, our own hypothesis. We don't want to use our own experiment. Hatutaki. Tunangoja mtu mwingine afanye first. See? So we don't want to be the first people to try it. Why? What is stopping us to be the first people to try it? Yes, our currency is now traded at maybe $1 against 140 or whatever. What if CBK just decide every day or every week nakata na 10 inaenda chini? Leo ni 130, kesho ni 120. Why? What is stopping us? And making it ikiwa 100, ikiwa 90. What is stopping us? So what are these factors that's holding us back? And who is controlling these factors? Why are we unable to control our own factors? Why are we in control? So we must rely on other people. So these people, when they were getting into power, for example, the US, how did they come up with all these factors? For themselves. They set the agenda of the whole world, economically, militarily, for themselves.
Yeah.
So what is stopping us from doing it? Mtu anakuambia hapana, the world doesn't work like that. So who said that the world should work according to their standards? So that is where we are getting wrong. That is the fear we have. That's why Blue Ocean Strategies is now exploring new oceans. Yeah. That's why Russia was under I don't know how many years of sanction, and they're thriving. Iran was put under sanction for many years, thriving. They have came up with a lot of things. Why? They started thinking for themselves, looking internally and coming up with a lot of stuff. Gen Zs now said no to the bullshit of their parents. So what they're doing is, pana, it should not work. Things should not work this way. We must change it. And now that change is happening. But now this change must continue. And it must be directed to each ministry and every area.
Yeah.
Why should you have all ministers in Nairobi? Ministry of Agriculture, what is it doing in Kenya, Nairobi? Why can't it go to Rift Valley? Ministry of Livestock, what is it doing in Nairobi? Or if it's there, Siende, Isiolo, or Wajir, or whatever it is. Minister of Tourism, what is it doing in Nairobi? Peleka Coast. Why should we have all ministers here? All ministers should be where they should be. We need to decentralize ministries, have offices there. So that why can't we cut cost on what is it called? On this benchmarking, blah blah, what is benchmarking? We need to act more. We need action more.
Yeah.
We need to do more. That's what we need.
What's your take? Where are you listening to this from? And continue having this conversation on our social media platforms. Remember, this is What's on Your Shelf. We're on YouTube and also on all the other platforms. You're on TikTok. Tell us what you think about this conversation. Why do nations fail? Where are we at as a country? What's your take? What's your feedback regarding what we are talking about here today? Feel free to share with us your comments right there on the comment section. Remember, have you subscribed yet? Hit that subscribe button so that you get to know whenever we are up with another exciting episode such as this. But we're talking about real issues. We're talking about what literature has brought to us. And today we are seated right at the center of books here at the Nuria bookstore. They have a physical store at the first floor of the Bazaar Plaza. Check them out. Come see dozens of titles here. Both local and international books are available here at the store, but also they have one of the most exciting online platforms. Check out Nuria.com on their website. But also talking about the website, Bulle, you guys have won this online e-commerce website year in, year out. I think now it should be domiciled here at Nuria. But what are some of the key things that has worked for Nuria that has made it bag this award year in, year out?
I think first of all, it's not easy to build loyalty in Kenya, customer loyalty. Brand loyalty is, I think, it's not as high as in other countries. So we manage to build that. We have a lot of brand loyalty because our competition is in other things, but not with price. And many Kenyans, have bought our brand because of the diverse books that we have, because of the works we have done for the Kenyan authors, also our patience in growing and building Kenyan authors. That has really paid off, and more Kenyans, I think, now are becoming more patriotic when it comes to reading Kenyan books, buying and writing Kenyan books. That's also growing. So because of that, I think when it comes to now competition for awards, more Kenyans are willing to vote for us because of that. And then we have never failed in delivering on our promise. When you order a book, we deliver same day delivery in Nairobi, and then next day delivery or pick up outside Nairobi. So because of those, I think things that has really given us leverage over our competition. So for the fourth year, I think we were voted or we are awarded the best e-commerce bookstore in Kenya 4 years consecutive. So which is amazing, and I want to say thank you to our customers, and let's grow and build Kenyan and African books so that at least we write and read about ourselves. Let's dig on our culture, let's write on our culture, and let's read our culture. Let's build our own countries. Let's stay in our in our countries and build our countries. Let's not look for job elsewhere, and if we go and look for elsewhere jobs, let's learn from them and then bring those ideas and knowledge here in Kenya, because we need to learn from other people as well and maybe leverage on the knowledge. So I think because of that, our focus being on the home of African books, Kenyans started appreciating and voting for us.
But when you're looking at the rise of the digital landscape and also the ebooks and audiobooks, how would you look at the future of literature and books in Kenya?
Yeah, it's growing. Audiobooks, it's on.
Do we have as much from our local publishers? I don't know if I've interacted with as much audio, especially audiobooks. How would you analyze that? How would you rate our progress with that?
Generally, the online acceptance is growing. Before we go to audio and ebooks, it's still growing compared to a few years ago. That market is growing steadily. More, I think, buyers are trusting online platforms, because trust is two ways, where once you order, you get the book, and then the trust is fulfilled and you pay for it and fulfill. So that has been growing, because the damage was done a few years ago by OLX, but now the trust is being gained by most of the online platforms. As for the ebook and the audiobooks, that's another market that's on the infant stage. A couple of bookshops now are offering that platform. We started offering a couple of years ago. We haven't fully marketed it. Our website now accommodates audiobooks, where you can buy an audiobook and listen to it, whether when you're on your car or you're walking, and listen to a book using your phone. You can also stream it using your car stereo. So audiobooks is on infancy stage.
Yeah.
Ebook is another tricky market, because the people who are reading a lot of ebooks are in the academic world, in high school and also in universities, and most of them, they want free ebooks. So because of that space, I think there's a lot of some challenges that I hear here, because they want it for free. Free means free. So, and they usually share it on WhatsApp, on other platforms.
Yeah.
So, and there are a lot of dark websites that you can buy or get it for free. You can download books for free. So there's a market challenge in that area. But for the audiobooks, it's also growing now. More books have been converted into audiobooks, because the goodness with audiobooks is boundaryless. You can buy wherever you are, whether you are in US, in Australia, in Middle East, the rest of the world. You can listen to that book. You buy it and listen to it. That's the thing that audio or the advantage that audio and ebook has over actual books. It's fast and quick and easily accessible. So that market is growing. It's growing, and it's the initial cost that is very high of producing the ebook. No, the audiobook. Ebook is free, because the cheapest book to produce the ebook, followed by actual book, and now audiobooks. But now audiobooks and ebook, the goodness is just one time cost.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it.
you just earn your royalties or money till you die.
Yeah, but then when you look at that and you think about people wanting the free books, and you as the person who runs this place, what would you say about piracy?
It's big. It's big in Kenya compared to other countries, especially outside Africa. I think we are the second largest. I don't have the figure, but from where I sit, I think it's the second largest country that pirates books after Nigeria. So, and I think we are the third largest when it comes to readership after South Africa and Nigeria. Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya. So, and I think in the couple of years, I think Kenya will be leading in that space when it comes to reading and writing. Those spaces growing. because of the support we are giving to Kenyan authors, both marketing and also helping them in, linking them with printers and publishers.
Yeah.
So piracy is big in Kenya. It's something that I think slowly by slowly maybe the government will crack the whip and maybe help content owners to reap on their content.
Yeah.
But Kenya, for now, it's tough to deal with it.
What specific role from where you see do you think the government can play in helping this literary world improve and become better?
I think we need to have as many libraries as possible. Each county must have a library. Each ward needs to have a village library, a mini library, and then those libraries be equipped with Kenyan books. That's what I want, African books and Kenyan books, so that accessibility of knowledge becomes easy for not only people who are in Nairobi, but also people who are in other counties, in rural areas. We need to have a hybrid libraries, a library that have a place where you can read, a library where you can have a place where you can play board games, a library where you can have pool table and many other factors, engaging things that engages the brain. A library where you can have wazes who can tell stories, where they can pass knowledge to the next generation through stories. So we need to have our own hybrid Africanized, Kenyanized libraries, as many of them. And then now those libraries now must have African books, African products or Kenyan products. So that's, I think, where the government can help and have many librarians that on the government payroll, so who are paid well, who will manage those books on those. And then we need to have also digital books in those libraries. We will have desktops or laptops where someone can read an e-book that is domiciled in that area and so on and so forth. So we need to increase, I think, personal readership in all counties, and all wards here. Yeah.
There's an author who's watching you now, or listening to you today. Maybe there is one who wants to start, or maybe there is one who's done their second or third book. Maybe there is one who's done their 10th book. But now when you're looking at cross-board, what are some of the quick factors that you would share with somebody who would want to venture into that space that they need to consider as they're either getting into publishing or they're working on their next book?
The many factors. The first one is first grow your audience. So if you're a first-time author or you're an author, first grow your audience on all social media platforms. Do that. Once you do that, and you have good, nice following, the second key thing is if you have your manuscript, look for an editor. Get a second eye to look at your book. Let them go through it. Let them give you feedback. Once they give you feedback, incorporate that feedback, return it back to them, let them look at it. Once they give you the go ahead, look for maybe another editor if it's possible, which is not, it's optional, so that second editor give you feedback, and then after that look for, or you can also do it, or look for a tool to book edit. Book editing is book designing, the layout of the book. So you need to lay out the book, structure it very well so that it's easy to read or easy to read the book, and good for the eyes. Once you do that, now you create your own book cover. So also that one, there are many AI tools that can do for that for you, or you can also look for an artist to do for you the cover. After that, there are many printers nowadays. We can link you up with printers who will help you to print the book. And then nowadays, the printers can do for you print on demand. So they can print for you the book on demand, 10 copies, 20 copies, 50 copies. Though economies of scales work, the more you print, the cheaper the book becomes for you. And then once you do that, you sell the book on Nuria, another bookshop, and also you can sell it on your social media platforms. And then you have to aggressively now market it. You have to aggressively talk about your book. And then there are three costs that books involves. One is the printing cost of the book. Second is your expected margin, and then expected margins of the booksellers. So it will be the cost of the book, your margin, your expected margin, and then you include the cost of the booksellers. Booksellers, most of them, they take 30% as a margin. So if the cost of your book is 300 shilling, you can put your margin maybe 300 shilling, maybe another 300 for the booksellers. So your book might come to either 1,000 or 900 shilling. So that's how you can come up with the cost of the book. And then you now market it aggressively. And the best way to market your book is through storytelling. So, and then now target using niche, and then start with sharing with friends and family, your followers, sharing the link of the book with them, and then you start getting your investment back. Because I see, or you need to treat book as an investment, as a product. You're bringing it to the market. As a kid, you have given birth to the market. You have to nurture it, you have to grow it, you have to give it maziwa na kila kitu till it grows, it transfer it. So a book is like a product. You give it birth, and then for it that to give it back to you, you have to nurture it, you have to grow it, you have to market it. So marketing is another key thing after what you have done, the first part, which is book writing, editing, designing, and then printing it and taking it to the bookshops. Is now selling it. Selling it. Once you start selling it and the market accepts it, then it becomes a snowball. It becomes easy. You just market it from time to time, and then you get your money slowly by slowly. Yeah.
Are there any trends in terms of genre that maybe you've witnessed from the number of books that people go for, both maybe from our local books? Are there genres that people are looking for more compared to others? And then also from the author's perspective, are there authors that most of our writers are writing more on? So I'm looking at it from both from an author's perspective and also from reader's perspective. Yeah.
That I think boils down again to marketing. The books that are doing well now are fictional books and non-fiction, of course, but fictional books are doing well because of stories. People love reading story books. So that's one area that is growing well in Kenya. So the second area is niche-based books. For example, now a particular space like this book of Washington Kondwati is about money. There's also Jacob Elliott's book, masculinity book, where it has gotten a lot of negative feedback, and that negative energy gave it a life, or started making the book become a bestseller. So that is a luck. It can be a luck, or it can be by design, I don't know, but if you get that luck, it's good for you. But the books that are performing well are fictional books, story books, novels. But now the story might be very captivating, like the one of John Thaddeus. Sarah Halua's Sinners, it's more of a romantic book, but the story has to be told in a certain way, because John's book, some of them are fiction, but some are true stories, but now put it in a very very nice perspective. So also from the author's perspective is, are you a good storyteller? Are you writing on an area that you're expert in? Is it money? Is it retirement? Is it is it business? Are you expert in that area? And do you have good following in that area, so that people will buy you before they buy your product? Because readers buy you before they buy your product, and before they buy you, you must have built that buy-in. So, but it all again boils down to the marketing. Joanne has been in the market since 2016, and I think she has gotten the big breakthrough maybe the last 1 or 2 years. So sometimes it takes time to build onto it. Silas Nyanchwani he started building his profile on Facebook and started sharing, his experience or memos with men long before even he put it into a book. So, and now, the drive or the book came from the customers. Readers pushed him now to come up with books, and now it becomes easy for him to sell the books. So that's what I'm telling you. Also, building, your profile also is good sometimes. It was an easy for authors, for politicians, where you're a politician, you have a name, you have a brand. So once you release a book, it becomes an easy for you to sell because of the name. Because most of them, they have gotten the free airtime with mainstream medias. So where mainstream medias interview you, and then that make it easy for you to sell your book. So selling a new book is tough unless you get certain factors right, which you have good following, your story is compelling and good, and you religiously, continuously market your book. And then once your book is appreciated or accepted by the market, you release another one like that.
But now for you, how do you choose the books that you feature in the store?
No, we don't have a particular book that we feature, because that is the market we have filled. And that's the niche that we saw that other booksellers were not filling in, where they were not accommodating first-time authors.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a name. I don't want to burden my shelf because of your book. Because let me burden my shelf with books that are moving haraka. Watu wananunua. So they didn't want to market Kenyan books and take the burden of marketing and also taking the shelf space. As we don't have or discriminate about any books, there are many authors that you have here in the shelf that other bookshop refused to shelf them or to accommodate them. As we accommodate as many Kenyans as possible, as long as the book is not it's not targeting someone or so, as long as it's a general book, it's a fictional book, story book, we'll shelve it for you, as long as you're not targeting someone at hiyo mtu ni mbaya ni nini kitu kama hiyo. You have certain agenda against someone, and even that, to some extent we might stock that book, but we don't encourage to be personal with someone. But as long as it's a research based fictional book, story books, academic book, school books rather, that helping student excel in his exams, something that's beneficial to us. Books on environment, books on nini. So, and then if the book is not in a good standard, we'll give you feedback, but we'll stock it. We'll tell you kitabu yako it's not in good standard, but improve on this.
And if you're joining us right now, today we're having a conversation with Mr. Abdullahi Bulle, who is the founder of Nuria Bookstore, which has been the leading online bookstore for the last 4 years in a row, receiving awards left, right, and center. But also, we've had so much to talk about regarding that literary space, and even the top 5 books we picked with him, we couldn't go past the third, but there are still 2 more. Leading Resilience, which is one of the books he had picked, and the Visual MBA. Would you quickly just talk about these 2 books quickly as we now conclude, because I'm sure now also time is well spent.
Yeah, asante sana. Leading, I think, Leading Resilience is a book that currently I'm reading. It's a good book. I think it's one book that all politicians should read now. Any person who is in the leadership should read. He's a doctor from Sudan. It's called El Tigani. So it's a book that talks about leadership, and it's a book that so far it's incorporating about how leadership failed and how leadership helped people thrive in certain areas. How what made Kodak fail, what made several other companies that failed, the reason why they failed, and how some other companies are thriving, what made it. So it's a book that's helping you on how to lead both in business and personal level. That's an amazing book to read. So it talks about competency issues, leadership crisis, vision, myopia, and so on and so forth. It's an amazing book, I think, to read. When it comes to Visual MBA, this is a nice book. This is a book that gives you, it's like summarizes for you everything in regards to business, from finance, from strategy, from marketing, in a visual way. So in a visual way, how to look at financial reports, how to market your products, how to make strategic decisions. So in a visual way. So that's why it's called visual market, visual MBA. It's called a visual MBA. So this is a nice book, I think, for any person who's venturing into business, any person who's into business as well. So you can just pick one topic and then go through it and visualize it and maybe borrow ideas and tailor make for yourself whatever you borrow from that book. So, and also before we wind up, I think we will donate 5 books to you guys so that you give it to your followers.
Yeah. Which one? On this one?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So remember
give
we
you
said
all these 3 and this, except this, and then and you can pick another book.
all right.
Yeah.
The 5th book will be of my choice. And remember, we promise that we will reward people. And we have 5 books to give. The first person who will comment on this video has a gift. And also, remember, we have the visual MBA that we've heard about. We have leading resilience that we've heard about. Why nations fail. And we spoke about this extensively. And we are praying that our nation doesn't. And making sense.
No, it won't fail. Kenya won't fail.
We spoke about money. But Mr. Bulle, as I conclude, is it realistic to not judge a book by its cover?
I don't. It's possible. You can judge a book by its cover, because they have come across books that its cover sells. The cover matters. The cover of the book matters as well. Cover sells. So some people or most of us make decisions based on the first 5 seconds. So cover attracts, and cover sometimes misleads.
Yeah, but thank you so much for making time and allowing us to film here. Remember, this conversation is coming to you on our social media platform, What's on Your Shelf. But Mr. Bulle, as we conclude, is there any one thing you'd want to talk to your fans, the people who support Nuria, or even the people who have been following this conversation on our platforms?
What I want to say is all Kenyans who are in Kenya now, let's build Kenya, let's put Kenya first, let's put our own interests first, let's create more employment, let's grow our country, let's protect our country, and let's build our nation. Let's build our nation in every sector. And you can go outside Kenya, you can borrow ideas. I'm a big fan of people who travel. Let's borrow ideas and information from other country or the rest of the world, but let's build our country. Let's make Kenya great, and let's put our own interests first. And my message to the president is put Kenya first. Any decision you make, you must put Kenyans' interest first. Kenya first. You are Kenyan first. You're not someone else first. So when you're thinking, when you're making decision, you must put the interest of Kenya first. Asanteni sana. Thanks for hosting us. Karibu to Nuria.
All right. Thank you so much. And I think that is where we close it. I can't say no more. Put Kenya first. And even to you, our viewers, thank you so much for joining with us through this episode. What are the things that stood out for you? What are some of the conversations that stood out for you? What are some of the things you didn't know that this conversation brought to your attention? Please feel free to share with us that on our social media platforms. We'll be really, really happy to read that feedback and also act upon it. But thank you so much. And this has been What's on Your Shelf. I'm your host, Mulure Mike. And until the next one, have a good one.